Today, we're going to be making Tuscan chicken with fettuccine on the side. We'll start the fettuccine in a moment. First thing I want to do is I want to cut up my 1.5 pounds of chicken breast, all right? Me, I'm really picky about fat. Well, fat on my food, because I'm trying to lose weight these days. So I'm going to do a little bit of trimming here before I cut these things up. I'm just going to cut that off the side and leave as little fat as I possibly can. Okay? And we've got this one piece here that I definitely don't want. Somebody left that in the breast. That looks like cartilage. No fun, no fun. This dinner will take you about 40 minutes to make. And we'll do that little piece right there. Time to sharpen these knives. A sharp knife is a safer knife than a dull knife. I never understood that until I thought about it. A sharp knife is safer because a dull knife, you got to push harder and more chances to slip and cut your fingers. So always make sure you keep your knife sharp. There's your tip for the day. You can use chicken tenders if you want. I prefer to use the chicken breast because there's just something about the chicken tender that doesn't set right with me. You know, they've got that little grizzle or veiny thing in, you know what I'm talking about? And you always have to wind up cutting that out anyway, and it's twice as much work. So I'm going to cut this about the size of a chicken tender, okay? That's going to be the size of the meat that we put out there. In a minute, we're going to recreate an old shake and bake commercial.
It's not fried.
It's not?
It's shake and bake, and I help.
It's shake and bake, and I help. There's 3/4 of a cup of flour. We're also going to use a teaspoon of salt. Do I really need to measure this? Whoops, that's a teaspoon. Heavy teaspoon, okay? Let's put in some fresh ground black pepper. Now, I have got my mill set to a little bit thicker. I don't want it too thin because I want to be able to feel the pepper. All right. From there, we're going to go and get some basil. Where's the basil? There we go. Basil. How much basil do we need? We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of basil. I'm getting a look today. I must be doing something wrong. 1/2 teaspoon of basil. It looks like about 1/2 teaspoon of basil. And I got to thank my executive producer. She set these measuring spoons out so nicely so I could use them. And here I am just guessing and having a little bit of fun. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of oregano. Again, this is going to be a 1/2 teaspoon. This is going to come out kind of fast, so we don't need to do too much there. And last but not least, we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. Ready? Done. There we go. All right, I'm going to pre-mix this, okay? And then I'm going to put the chicken in. Messy Marvin, that's me. Looky there, Ma. When you shake this stuff, you want to make sure you turn it over and go back and forth, because if you don't do that, the pieces inside will wind up sticking together and you won't get them thoroughly coated. You want to make sure that they're coated on all sides. I'm going to finish shaking the bag up, and then we're going to go ahead and start the chicken. It is time for us to cook our chicken. I've already started the pan off on heating. We're going to put in a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter. We're going to let that melt. Okay, here we go. Something tells me I'm going to be wearing flour today. That's okay. I look good in flour. Now, like I said before, we're not going to turn it more than once. And look at the nice golden brown we have. All this on a medium heat, again with 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 1 tablespoon of butter. And that's all. Now, like any other meat that you fry, it's important to let it rest. That way the juices stay in there and sear it up So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our chicken and I'm going to plate it up. I just wanted you to remember to do that. If you look at the other side here, it's nice and done. So we're going to plate this chicken. We're going to let it rest. And actually, we won't show you, but I'm going to do a second batch because we still have a couple of pieces of chicken left over. So let me get that done and we'll be back. Okay, time for the vegetables, as everybody says. I find the easiest way to go ahead and dice our red pepper, cut the ends off, okay? And then you can use your big knife or you can use your small knife. You see how that comes out? I'm just going to trim right around there and trim this, okay? And this is going to come out 1, 2, 3 easy, he said. Pop. There's all the stuff inside. All the seeds are out of there. And we're not going to waste a thing. Okay. As far as the top is concerned, just push it through. Pull. All right. Now you haven't wasted a thing. Okay. We've got you ready to go. We're going to do you like this. See? Look at that. We didn't waste a thing. So tell me, which way do you prefer your garlic? Do you like it minced very fine, or do you like it more chopped? Which one do you think releases most flavor? I'd be interested to see what you think in the comments. Please, by all means, make all the comments you want. Good or bad, make the comments. And if I haven't begged you to subscribe yet, let me do that now, please. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It helps us tremendously to grow. All right. It's important to use fresh grated Parmesan cheese, and here's the reason. I'll tell you why, okay? Not only does it have a more pungent and aromatic flavor, but you don't get the sawdust. What's he talking about? That Kraft shredded or grated Parmesan cheese, or even the store brand, has cellulose in it, which is basically trees and sawdust. They're allowed to put that in there. Now, it's not bad for your health. I suppose maybe if you want to pretend you're Yule Gibbons.
Ever eat a pine tree? Many parts are edible.
Again, you'd have to be of a certain age to know what I'm talking about. But I would rather not have that in my food. So this is going to go a long way to making a better taste. Now, if you're lazy and if you're in a hurry, I won't rat on you. Go ahead and use the canned Parmesan cheese. But let me just tell you, this is worth the effort. Time to make the sauce. So we want to put in a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. And what we're going to do is we're going to scrape all of those leavings, as some people call them, right off the bottom. So we're kind of deglazing the pan with a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to let the olive oil come up to temperature. Of course, the pan should be up to temperature already. Okay, we're going to add our vegetables now. So that includes our bell pepper, and then we'll do the garlic. We're going to do them one at a time. First things first, we're going to go ahead and do the red pepper. Ah, yes, nice sizzle. Nice sizzle. Trying not to spill any. I'm having one of those days where, you know, if I spill something, I'm spilling a lot. So that's why I'm going a little bit extra slow today. Don't want to look goofier than I already am. We're going to cook this for about 2 or 3 minutes, just enough to get it tender. And then we're going to go ahead and put the garlic in. Okay, it's been 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to go ahead and put our garlic in. We're going to let that go for about 30 seconds. Get in there. Now we're going to mix in 3/4 of a cup chicken broth. We're going to use vegetable broth. And we're going to whisk the flour into that. Let me get a nice whisk. Look at that. Ooh, making a nice sauce already, huh? All right. Now we want to bring this to a simmer, which it's already doing. And since it's doing that already, let's go ahead and do the cream. Stir that in. That'll look delicious. Oh, my. And then we'll throw in the milk. That buys us a little time here, so we can go ahead and get our seasonings. We're going to throw in a little bit of Italian seasoning. Look good to you? Looks good to me. All right. And then there's the garlic powder. And now salt and pepper. Look at what we're going to use here. Yeah, we're going to get fancy and use our pink salt. And then our fresh ground pepper. And see how big I left those? I do that on purpose because that way when you catch one and you bite into it, you get a nice feeling of pepper. And it's like, ooh, hey, that's good. Okay. Takes a little while to thicken up. But it looks like it's starting to do that job just nicely. I'm going to put in a ton of spinach, because spinach cooks down very well. I'm overstuffing it with spinach. You don't have to go as nuts as I am. But I like a lot of spinach. Look at that. Starting to thicken up, and it's starting to wilt. It's very nice. What do you think? Huh? Look how that cooked right down in there. Bet you thought it wouldn't, huh? Ready for the fresh grated Parmesan? Yummy. Isn't that a nice plate? I'm going to reduce the heat now so we don't scorch the sauce. I've got it just above low. This is going to plate up so nice. Now, I like to add the chicken back in. I was going to go ahead and cut it into small pieces, but you know what I think? I think we can do that at the table. Now, I have sufficiently made a mess of my kitchen, but don't worry, this is going to be worth it, and I'm going to go ahead and clean it up. So let's go ahead and plate it up, all right? We're going to start with the fettuccine. Trust me when I tell you this is a dinner worth eating. I'm going to do so right now. So as always, please, if you liked it, give us a like. And also, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.